Okay, so can someone respond, say hello? I can't seem to hear anybody's sound. Beautiful, beautiful. Welcome to this particular session. My name is Joel Omike, and I'm going to be taking us through a Q&A conversation on why it is important to get certified as a HR professional. We shall be having a heart-to-heart conversation around this particular area. We will be looking at what are the options available for you, why you may want to consider this particular journey as part of your career growth and career projection. Having said that, let me quickly introduce the organization I work with and myself properly. So I work with P4PE Institute. P4PE Institute is a challenger in providing HR solutions, business solutions, and leadership development solutions. We've been around since 2011, and we've been running certifications within the Nigerian space in the past 12 years, as the case may be. We've been privileged to work with various institutions in various industries, helping them to architect their growth, their development, and also help the HR system and function to transform. With respect to the services this organization offers, we provide business solutions in terms of analytics, corporate performance management, and strategic planning and team building. Within the HR space, we play in recruitment, in assessment, in outsourcing, and of course in HR projects, consulting as the case is. In L&D, we have open programs. In today's world, a lot are now virtual. We have certification programs within the HRCI, the SHRM, the PMI, and also CIPM. We also run in-company programs on behalf of organizations. And of course, we have conferences that we do have and run periodically down the line. In terms of career solutions, we help executives to, by means of mentoring and coaching, to take ownership and to deliver results for the role that they are doing. We also have programs that are focused on skills development and a book club that ensures that you continue yourself to continuous learning as the case may be. Like I said earlier, my name is Joel Omike. I've had an interesting career journey within the HR space in the past 22 years. I've been privileged to work with several executives, trying to understand why organizations and behave the way they do. And today I'm very comfortable with business growth, business value building, HR transformation, and I speak on various podiums. Today's conversation is going to center around why I feel that you should consider certification as part of the potpourri of things that you need in order to advance your career down the line. So if you can, and you've been in HR, if you've been in HR for a while, please type yes HR in the chat box. If you've been in HR for a while, please type yes HR in the chat box. Let me see. If you've been in HR for a while, please just type yes HR. Beautiful. Thank you, Gloria. Yes. Yes. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You know, it is said to be, thank you, Fumi. Thank you, Ugo. Thank you, Rose. It is said that HR today is the de la creme of various professions. It's one of the most admired professions as the case is today. Just a few minutes ago, I was going through one of my social groups on WhatsApp, and somebody posted some kind of graphic image of a staff that is being carried on a stretcher by two other persons. And then they wrote, the comics now said, what happened to him? And they say it's because he's working in the HR function. And that's why he collapsed. Usually it is said that the HR function is an exciting function, but a very difficult function. It's a function where you have two masters, or you're serving two different ends. You're serving the owners of the business, aka management and leadership, and then you're responsible for the people, as the case may be. And most times, the things that the people want is a tangent for what management wants. And you struggle to keep a balance and ensure that management gets results while employees feel fulfilled doing the work they do. So I say welcome into the profession of HR for those of you who have made it a journey like I have in the past 22 years. So why are we here? And what is going to be the crux of our discussion? Fundamentally, there are two questions I'd like to answer in our conversation today. One, should you get a HR certification? I mean, what's the hullabaloo around certifications and HR certifications? Is it important that you should have one? I mean, look at your friends, look at your colleagues, look at other professionals within the HR space. Do they have HR certification? Why should you? Okay, so down the line, if you make the choice and you've decided that I need a HR certification, which one? Which one should you pursue? Which of the various certifications will help serve your journey as you make progress down the line at that point? I tell you the truth, there are a lot of certifications out there, but I'm going to narrow this conversation to just about 7 of them that I strongly believe are drivers for growth for HR professionals in the journey down the line. So if you're ready and you have a few questions to ask, please say yes, I'm ready. Just say ready in the chat box. If you're ready, let's hear you. Say ready in the chat box. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Amoba. Beautiful, 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 Ibrahim. Yes, great. Thank you, Benisala. Great, great. Ugo. People are great. Thanks, thanks. I think I should take you all whenever I'm facilitating, so you can encourage me down the line. Thank you, Wilfred. Thank you, Gloria. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. So let's start this conversation. And please, down the line, once a question pops into your mind, it's a conversation, it's a Q&A, please get on the chat box and chat. And if you feel like speaking, just raise your hand. It will show here and will enable you to speak. So we can engage in a conversation very effectively. Remember, what you put into this conversation is what you take out. I'm going to discuss as much as I know, or as much as I can remember within the time we have. But you can encourage the direction you want the questions to be answered down the line as we make progress. All right, beautiful. Starts with a few questions I have prepared. When I finish, perhaps I will also encourage you to share yours down the line. The first question, why certify? Why should you pursue a HR certification? If you look at your colleagues, some of them have HR certification. If you look at some of the mentors in the public in the space that we admire in the HR space, some of them who are very successful do not have a HR certification. Yes, I have a very close. He has changed several HR jobs as an executive, at general management level, at ED's level, and he doesn't have the HR certification. And so sometimes when you sit back and look at his journey, you wonder, is it really worth it? Should I get a HR certification? I mean, look at him. He doesn't have it. I also know another HR professional, a lady who is currently the HR director of one of the respected global firms, and she doesn't have a HR certification. And they will say, but look at her, she's high up there in her career and she doesn't have HR certification. Why should I do this particular journey? Very good question to ask. First, let me approach it from a standpoint of what has changed over time. You will agree with me that in recent history, the number of people who are getting into the HR profession today are more than those who have been getting into HR before. In fact, according to the institutes, especially CIPM here, the number of registrations they are getting into HR is more than those that they've had in a very long time. Also, in various organizations, there are more people today who are requesting to enter HR, that they want to start a HR career. They have heard HR is a great place to work. So the quantity of entrance into HR has increased. Have you noticed that? Please confirm. Have you noticed that people joining HR have increased? Please confirm. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you very much. So in the past, thank you very much. Absolutely. Absolutely. So for our generation earlier, all right, it was easier for us to advance in our HR career because we had experience. We had gathered experience. There are few of us then in the HR space. So it was easy when the organization is looking for the next HR manager, the next HR leader. It was easy for them to pick us. And so some of my colleagues moved very fast up in the corporate ladder. One reason, because competition was very limited. Two, because they had the exposure and the experience at that point in time, and then they have progressed very quickly at that point. And then thirdly, they are giving to the profession HR, and they demonstrated that they are interested in driving results within HR. So they progressed very, very quickly. However, these reasons don't hold water so much today. Why? If you check the average HR office, the average HR person has 2 years, 3 years, 4 years experience. All of them have small experience, as the case may be. It is difficult to single out a few of them that can move on very quickly based on experience because they all have the same experience. Two, if you look at the depth of experience some of our HR colleagues have, they are not rich and wide enough for several reasons. One, they are limited to the organization. Their HR practice has been limited to the organization where they have practiced HR. So if within that particular space, they have not been opportune to see HR from different angles, tendency is that their level of experience and maturity will not be robust enough for the next level of the HR career, as the case may be. But let's look at it from a scientific point of view. What does research show about certification? From the things we're seeing, research has demonstrated that there is value in any certification. Because ideally, any certification involves a lot of investment of time from your part. In fact, any of the certifications we're going to talk about, none of them will take you less than 3 to 6 months to prepare and pass. All right? Second, it costs very much at these particular certifications. And so, none of the certifications is going to cost you less than 200,000 naira or 250,000 naira. In fact, among the HR certifications we're talking about, there are some of them that are pending towards 800,000 naira before you acquire it. Again, no thanks to the rise, to the exchange rate problems that we're having in our climate, as the case may be. But don't worry, even though you invest a lot of time, even though you invest a lot of money, the return of investment, the ROI, is what the energy you put into it, is what the expense you go through in getting this particular certification. I'm going to share with you 4 different advantages, or maybe 5, that will help to encourage you to pursue particular certifications. The first one is that you become more hireable in the marketplace just because you have a certification. Some employers today require applicants to show that they have a certification before they can qualify for a particular job. You will have noticed some HR advertisement today. Inside it, you notice that they specify that the person should have a HR certification. And in some cases, they may not say very clearly, my power is down, they may not say very clearly what particular certification you're supposed to get. Advantage if you have that particular certification. Being certified helps to prove that you are dedicated to your profession and that you have the necessary knowledge in order to advance and continue to make progress within the space at that point in time. The second advantage of certification is that it leads to an increase in your salary potential. So if your current salary, whatever your current salary is, once you have a HR certification, the tendency is that you get to be paid much higher than those without a HR certification. Certified HR professionals earn significantly more than those who are uncertified. In fact, according to a particular research, it says that those who have the SPHR certification, the SPHR, please note, those who have the SPHR certification tend to earn 93%. That's double the average salary in the industry. So for senior HR professionals who perhaps are used to earning just a limited amount of money, as the case may be, HR professionals who have certifications tend to earn much, much higher than others at that point in time. The third reason why a certification is an advantage for you is that it helps you to advance your career. If you complete a certification, it can improve your employer's perception of you. Just the mere fact that you're a certified individual makes the employer have an air of respect for you at that point in time. Consider our friends in accounting, those who have completed their international certifications or their ICANN certifications. Consider our friends in project management who have that particular certification, or in engineering, as the case may be. You see that there's a way they are respected more than the other ones, and they are usually considered first when they are qualified for promotion. Having a certification will automatically qualify you for additional responsibilities in your organization where you work. It can also help you to negotiate better pay, higher salaries, wherever it is you find yourself when you're looking for opportunities. I remember one of my MDs some years ago, when we go for meetings, and then he's introducing me. When he introduces me at the session, he will simply say that, "Oh, this is my group HR manager. He's a certified HR manager." It's like adding that word. He is a certified, and I think it gives him the feeling that the client he is talking to respects the fact that the organization hires certified in that particular area. So it commands respect and gives you an opportunity to advance your career faster than others may be able to advance compared to you. Finally, it helps you to enhance your skills, to develop your skills. For all those who have gone through certifications with us, as the case may be, each time at the end of the certification process, they are wowed, they are surprised at the depth of HR, the things in HR that they did not know before now. They are amazed that as HR professionals, there is a whole lot more they can learn just because of they've gone through that particular program. So it ends, the certification helps you to brush up some skills, various areas that you're not familiar with at that point in time. And this can help you to make the advancement that you need and then achieve great superior results as you make progress. These four reasons are some of the advantages that can help you to advance in your career as a HR professional. And then there are certain groups, certain associations that you are not welcome and invited into it until you demonstrate that you have that particular background and that certification. There was a particular opportunity that some people were bidding for. They were having a conversation for it. And when the opportunity came, it was now down to just 3 of them. And one person was the only one that had a certification out of the 3 of them. And they are all senior people, very qualified in their own area. But because it was only one person that has a certification, that person was chosen. My final reason why you should get a certification is this. Certification is the only evidence that someone who has just met you, that does not know you in the past, has confidence in what you can do. Certification is an endorsement by an international body or a certifying body that says that this individual can do what he says he can do. There is no amount of what you write in your CV that can compare to what the logo of a certification will do and say behind you at that point in time. Your certification goes ahead of you in being able to make statements in whatever it is you're doing. Check out LinkedIn profiles. You notice that profiles that have the certification logos on them tend to rank higher than those without certification. This is also an indication that the algorithm within the social media space tends to recognize professionalism that is endorsed by certifications down the line. I can start today without a certification, trying to grow my respect so that people will know me in the industry. I will send a lot of social media, write a lot of articles until I get to a point in the future when people have recognized me because of all the articles I'm writing. But once I show, another person shows a certification, instantly he rises way faster than I will at that point in time. Because the general perception, belief, is that once you have that endorsement, people can respect your background and what you can do at that point in time. Okay. Okay, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so I'm just reading through our comments. Okay, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, thank you very much. All right, I'll come back to that. Okay, so the next question is, who should look into certification? Is it for you? Should you look into certification? Well, in your career and in your HR profession, HR certification is not required. Please note, HR certification is not required for you to advance. However, there are circumstances where the certification can help you to advance. Now, if you choose to pursue HR certification, who should we consider? One, if you are a recent graduate, either you have a bachelor's degree in HR, as the case may be, or you're a fresh graduate within any of the disciplines, and you're interested in seeking a job within the HR space, I would encourage you to consider getting a HR certification. A HR certification will make the difference between you, who is a fresh graduate, as you're looking for a job, compared to another fresh graduate with a certification. That particular certification tends to rank higher and makes recruiters to pay attention to you more than the other candidate. Two, professionals that are working in their first HR role. If you're a professional and you've been in HR for a couple of years, 3 years or thereabouts, as the case may be, you should consider getting a certification to endorse, to cement what you're doing. So I can help you to advance more at that point in time. Whether you're working at your first job or you are being overwhelmed with your HR job at that point in time, getting a HR certification can help you to clarify things and understand how to do things better at that point in time. Completing a certification can also help you to build the skill to do your job very, very well. 3, if you're an experienced HR professional already and you're looking at boosting your career, all right, you're looking at expanding and growing your career at that point in time, then you may consider getting a HR certification. So maybe you have 5 years experience, 7 years, 8 years, 10 years HR experience, as the case may be. It is time for you to take on the next opportunity in the world. At this point in time, a HR certification will help to boost that career. It will help you to see things differently and also push you closer to the career perspective that you're pursuing. 4, certified professionals who are seeking to move up the corporate ladder. Why would someone who is already certified want to pursue another certification? Maybe you got certified at one of the lower level certifications, and there are a couple of them we're going to mention as we carry on with our conversation. So because you got that initial certification first, it was necessary at the level of your career at that point in time. But as you begin to move within HR space, from the transactional part of HR, from the administrative part of HR, from the day-to-day grind of HR, and you begin to move up at that point in time, there is need for you to discover what is the next great thing for you at that point in time. For you to move on to the level at that point in time, you will most probably need a senior certified certification for you to make progress and to use it at that point. Because the HR certifications we receive that you find in the industry, they just teach us HR. They certify us on the practice of day-to-day HR. They talk about recruitment, training, employee relations, payroll, social and benefits. Most times these are day-to-day HR. But as you move on to the next level of your certification, you then be pursuing the senior level certification that are talking about strategy, policy, talent management, as the case may be. And these are front burner executive level, and they're not generally about the transactions within HR, as the case may be. Okay, so there are a few comments again from the chat. One of the comments says that certifications is overrated. I agree with you. Rose was saying that HR certifications doesn't have the kind of respect it should have, and it doesn't have the good pay compared to other certifications like ICANN, ACC, ACSL. Rose, you are correct. But you're not correct 100%. What you're looking at is the average of those who have the certification. If you look at the average of those who have ICANN certification, they also do not earn as high as some of them, as the case may be. The question is, what are you able to do with your certification? Some people get the certification and say, I have certification, so pay me the good salary. It doesn't work that way. You must demonstrate that you can use your certification. The fact that I can pass an exam and get the certification does not mean that I can demonstrate 100% what is required at various levels. There are other things we'll talk about as we make progress down the line at that point in time. So certification alone, look at the number of people graduating from universities with first class. Well, how many of them can you use to come out from school? So that's also a consideration. If you have a certification, use it very, very well. 2, the things we have said so far, all right, is that would you prefer not to have a certification and then find a job that requires a certification and you don't get it? This is why it's important that you invest. My daughter once told me that it is better to have a qualification that you don't need than to not to have this qualification, and when you need it in the future, you miss opportunities at that point in time. Okay? Now, the point is that some of the certifications that we have, again, Opayemi also raises the concern that she has applied for internship jobs with certifications, but she has not been able to get placement for those particular jobs at that point in time. You're giving up a little bit too early, all right? The thing is that you need to attach to your certification also some measure of experience. We'll come to that as we converse. How do you advance with your career at that point in time? You need to balance both experience and also the certification along that particular line, as the case may be. Okay. Then you also need a stepping board, as the case may be at that point in time. The power of your personality, the fact that you have a fantastic qualification, but your personality does not exude it. That's why sometimes I always ask people who go for interviews and say, I didn't get the job. Did you confirm why you did not get the job? One of the reasons why you didn't get the job may be that there are other people who are more qualified. And again, there's nothing you can do about that. Who are more qualified than you are at that point in time. Or there are others who appear to defend the role and the job more than you do at that point in time. And these are some concerns you may find down the line. But finally, Bimpe says the certification gives you confidence. Absolutely. The knowledge you need in order to defend what you're doing at that point in time. Okay? What happens when you don't have an enabling environment to practice what you have learned as a certified HR professional? Ugo, that is a question a lot of HR professionals ask within Nigeria. There is a difference between what we are taught in certification and what some of our organizations are practicing. However, there are a lot of organizations out there who are practicing what the international HR is talking about, and they are progressing as leaders in the industry. Some of the organizations that do not practice these things, like you say, are organizations today who are struggling, as the case may be. Check them out very well, and you'll notice they are struggling with sustainability, they are struggling with growth, they are struggling with employee engagement, and they're having issues in those particular areas. You speak to a lot of mentors and you notice that this is confirmed as much as possible at that point in time. Okay, most certifications requirements on job adverts comes with clause added advantage. Very true, very true. All right, thank you very much. Thank you. Ugo also says that he got his certification a while ago and he wasn't given the opportunity to make contribution in his department. All right, thank you very much. Now, what are some of the available certifications that you may want to consider? Generally, there are a lot of certifications in the market that you will pay attention to that can help you to advance your career and make significant progress down the line. Now, it is not all the certifications that you may pursue with vigor and full energy. In particular, I would say that one of the best certifications that you may want to look at are these two certifications. The two different certifications that generally, globally, have earned the recognition and standard in every industry is the HRCI, HR Certification Institute, and the SHRM certifications. These two certifying bodies have earned the respect in global environment, as the case may be. However, there are other certifications that you may pay attention to that will drive you and help you to make progress. Some of these certifications include the ones from CIPM, from CIPD, ATD, CPHR, and CPTM. One from CIPM is an interesting certification that ensures you understand HR practice within the Nigerian space. It takes you through our labor law, our law systems, how HR is expected to work within our environment. That particular certification goes through two routes, either through an exam or through a professional route. For the exam, for those who are young in their career and are just starting off, there is the foundation exam that they can take. This progresses to an intermediate exam and then eventually a professional examination. If you succeed in these three areas, in these three exams, as the case may be, you get the opportunity to become an associate of CIPM. And you can also progress to being a member and a fellow of CIPM down the line at that point in time. On the other hand, if you have experience, deep-seated experience in HR, you can apply through the professional route to CIPM. And if you go through some of their special programs, all right, they will then endorse you with that particular certification. This is also similar to CIPD. CIPD UK And CIPD is one of the respected certifications among the senior HR professionals. But it's not a common certification, and it is a certification that is rarely requested for as you transverse in your career at various areas. Both CIPM, CIPD, and SHRM are associations, and you join them as members and you continue to progress at that point in time. There's also ATD, which is also from USA. ATD and CPTM focus on training. They are specialist certification within the training space for those who are interested in learning and development and growing their career in that particular area, to be respected individuals who can create, orchestrate learning and drive development within their organization. So they are specialist certification. The CPHR certification is common from the Canadian environment. In recent times, it is common for people who are traveling out to that particular environment to go and learn and pick up as much as possible at that point in time. But let's focus our attention on some of the certifications from HRCI, and then see what kind of certifications you may want to pursue in that particular area at that point in time. So first, we have the APHRI. We have the PHRI certifications. So these certifications can help you to drive and pursue your career as you make progress down the line. So from HRCI, there's the APHRI certification, which is the best choice if you're new with no experience to HR. That's the best certification you should pursue. This particular certification works and focuses on building knowledge, teaching you what the HR practice is about. While the PHR certification or the PHRI certification is ideal for those who have about 2 years experience within HR, up to 4 years experience as the case may be. This particular certification is an end-to-end certification on the practice of HR as the case may be. You will notice that this particular certification covers things like training, it covers recruitment, it covers employee relations, it covers compensation and benefits, it covers labor laws as the case may be in various industries, all right, and helps to understand how to manage HR practices and policies. Whoever gets this certification is an endorsement to say that you can hand over HR operations to this individual, and the individual will run it successfully because the person has the experience and has the understanding at that point in time. On the other hand, the SPHR certification and its counterpart, the SPHRI certification, is a senior level certification. This particular certification is designed for HR professionals that have more than 4 years experience within the HR space. But it's not just about the experience. It's for those who are at strategic level HR, either as unit heads, as head of HRs, as the case may be. These ones are responsible for policy development, they are responsible for strategy, HR strategy, they are responsible for HR initiatives and ensuring that the organization are in alignment with those particular initiatives to drive results in those areas. For us here in Nigeria, these are the major three certifications. Then there is the GPHR certification. The GPHR certification. This particular certification is the certification designed for individuals who have interest in the global space, the GPHR certification, who are interested in managing HR in more than one country. Please note, the GPA certification is not that you are the most senior person, that is the most senior certification. No, it's not about your level within HR. It's about the role you play within HR. You need at least 2 to 3 years experience within HR for you to pursue the GPHR certification. And those experiences are best held in the international space. For example, you're the training manager in charge of training for your company in Nigeria and in Ghana. Then you should get a GPHR certification. Or you're the recruitment person, talent acquisition manager. You're the person who is in charge of hiring staff from different countries for your organization. Then you should also get a GPHR certification, because that certification helps you to understand different cultures, different environments, and then you can succeed in managing and orchestrating things well at that point in time. Globally, there are a lot of people who have these particular certifications. As of January this year, for the PHRI certification, there's over 2,400 persons with that particular certification. And for the SPHRI certification, there's over 2,150 individuals with that particular certification. Interesting, the GPHR certification, there are more people who have this certification than the other certifications, as the case may be. Please note, I didn't speak about the APHR, the PHR, and the SPHR. These are certifications from HRCI, but they are best for people who live and work in the United States of America. If you're thinking of relocating to US or you're going to be working in US, then perhaps you should be considering the PHR, the SPHR, and not the ones with the I. The ones with the I are for international environments like Nigeria, like super environments. And those are the cases that will help you to advance and consider very well. How about the pass rate? I think this slide is very tiny. I hope you can see it. This is taken from their website. The pass rates of PHRI, this is one of the most passed certifications from HRCI. If you have up to 4 years experience, the tendency that you will pass this exam is very high. In our organization, we have a pass rate of about 90 to 100% for the PHRI certification. Now, for the SPHRI, it has about 76% pass rate at this particular case, and GPHR has about 77% pass rate. All right, so these are certifications you can consider and pursue to drive your career down the line at that point in time. Okay, so I am breaking. Is it clearer now? Okay, so Atinuke was asking, must you start working in different countries as a HR before getting the GPA certification? Absolutely not. No. The GPA certification are for two individuals. One, who are developing the global mindset because they are planning their career within the international space. They are thinking of working in those particular areas as much as possible. Two, if you are already working in an international organization, maybe in a multinational, and you're working in the HR department, it's important that you get the GPHR certification because it will help you understand the interrelationship between your organization and other international organizations at that point in time. It's easier for you to support your organization at that point in time once you have that particular certification. Okay, so that's the HRCI certification. That's the HR certification. Let's look at SHRM. Now, SHRM is an association and they've been here for donkey years. They've been around since 1960s, 1940s. So they've been around for a very, very long time as an association. However, in the past 5 years, in the past 6 years or thereabout, they came up with their own certification in HR. And their certification is called the SHRM CP and the SHRM SCP. CP being certified professional and SCP means senior certified professional. In the past, the CP certification are for people who have 1 to 4 years experience with HR. But today, SHRM has adjusted that qualification. You do not need a HR experience to pursue the CP certification. So if you're a rookie, you just graduated from university, you can apply for SHRM CP. All right? I think it's a welcome development for a lot of us who had wanted to do SHRM as the case may be. 2, SHRM SCP, which is the Senior Certified Professional Certification. In the past, it required you to have 5 years experience in HR before you can take that particular certification. But in today's world, SHRM has adjusted it to say you do not need to have pure HR certification. Once your role involves some measure of HR, right, and you have put in some 3 years experience in HR as the case may be, you can pursue the SCP certification. This is very interesting because that means that the net is now wider for those who can apply for this particular certification. The SHRM certification is such that it is some people say, what is the difference between SHRM and SCP? And sorry, what's the difference between SHRM and HRCI? Should I go to SHRM or should I go to HRCI? Usually I ask the question, why are you interested in certification? Your reason for getting the certification will determine which of the certifications that you should pursue at this point in time that can help you to get what you want and then achieve as much results as much as possible. Let me stop sharing briefly and we'll have a quick conversation in this particular area. So, should I pursue SHRM or should I pursue HRCI? If you are interested in advancing your career by means of practice, because you are interested in using your certification and using what you've learned, what you've studied, you can apply it immediately. HRCI is ideal for you. So HRCI, PHRI, SPHRI, APHRI, GPHR is ideal for you. We call those certifications practice-based certification. If on the other hand, you enjoy associating to a group and you enjoy the information and the principle behind why certain things work the way they work, you are interested in the science behind the way HR works, all right? Then you can pursue SHRM. Again, SHRM is like an MSc certification. It's like going to the university to go and get an MSc. That's SHRM certification. HRCI, on the other hand, is like an MBA certification. It's like going to get your master's, but your master's is an MBA, as the case may be. MSc is research-based, so there's a lot of theories, there's a lot of principles, there's a lot of academia in that particular area. So that is what you're going to find in a lot of SHRM certification. While HRCI, on the other hand, is practice-based. You see a lot of conversations around applications, real-life scenarios, and stuff like that, as it brings the certifications alive to you at that point in time. So I've given you two different ways to distinguish which of the certifications you are going to use. Next, common, globally recognized, and everybody notices it once you mention it at that point in time. The HRCI certification is well known. It has been there for more than 40 years. SPHR, GPHR, PHR, this certification has been well known for a long time. Tendency is that most of the nations you go to, they know those particular certifications. SHRM, on the other hand, are just 5 years old, and they are still in the tutoring phase of this particular certification. Finally, if you are interested in relocating and leaving Nigeria and you want to go and work in USA, please leave HRCI. Take SHRM certification. SHRM certification is a certification that you can use within the US environment, as the case may be. However, if you are interested in going to Canada, Canada is where you're going to, as the case may be. It does not matter the certification you take. Any of the certifications, when you get to Canada, you'll be required to convert to the Canadian certification. There's a process of conversion you go through, depending on the level you're in. It is difficult for you when you travel to US or travel to UK and you do not have any HR certification. You will start from ground zero as if you're a rookie and you don't know anything. And they don't respect your experience. You must demonstrate that experience by working in their environment or by showing some kind of certification to go with it at that point. Finally, that if I write it, I can pass. HRCI. The HRCI certification is easier to pass. In fact, it has 20% higher pass rates than the SHRM pass rate, as the case may be. And these are considerations you need to look at when you're thinking of getting which of the certifications. Then, if you're looking at your pockets, which one can I afford? Which one is cheaper for me to pursue? So if you're a cost-sensitive individual, HRCI is a premium certification. So it comes slightly more expensive than the SHIM certification. The HRCI certification is around $450, $500, $600, while the SHI certification is around $400, capped at $400. All right. If you're a member of the association, you can pay $300 as the case may be. These are multiple ways you can make up your mind which of the certifications you can pursue at that point in time in order to make progress as the case may be. Now, for SHIM, SHIM certifications are written in December, January, and February, or May, June, July. They just finished writing the certification exam last month, right? So that's their testing window. However, HRCI certification is written throughout the year. Anytime you're ready, you can go and write it. So it does not require you to wait for a particular season to write the certification. Once you're ready, you write any of these HRCI certifications. Now, what are some of the things we offer in order to help you to prepare for this certification? So we'll have a four Saturday class or an 8 weeks online program through our ProVarsity learning platform. All right. And these platforms provide you with resources, recorded playback videos, exam practice questions, mock exams, flashcards, weekly assignments, and case studies you can use to prepare. And of course, a WhatsApp group and access to a study center. These are resources you can use to prepare your certification. Now, what is the process of getting certified? First, you have to make up your mind of all the certifications we've spoken about. Which one do you want to write? Decide on the ones you want to write. After deciding on the certification, next is we recommend you should apply for the certification. People who do not apply, they prepare first before they come and apply. We notice that they are not as committed as those who have applied. Because once you have applied, you know that you have a goal to pursue, and it makes you to move closer to that particular goal at that point in time. This also is the recommended process for certification by HRCI and SHRM. So you apply for the certification and most probably pick a schedule where you want to write the exam. 3, you prepare for the exam. In preparing for the exam, you can sign up on any of the certification centers that you will find, any of the institutes that run certification preparatory programs. P4PE institutes have a well-read certification program that you can use in any of those cases and then use that to prepare as the case may be. Then you go and test, take the certification exam, right, pass it, and then you recertify. Note that your certification has a shelf life of 3 years. After 3 years, it will expire. Now, to keep it current and ensure that you recertify regularly, every 3 years, you must demonstrate to the Certification Institute that you're still a HR person by attending HR programs and recording the hours that you've attended in those particular areas, by getting involved in HR projects, by attending international conferences within HR, and of course, if you choose to, you can write the exam again in order for you to recertify. So, like we said, which of the certifications is ideal for you? Well, it depends on your career level, your career experience, and what you're pursuing. If you're a rookie, like we've said, and you're just starting off, we'll recommend PHRI certification. If you have some measure of experience, you can pursue other levels of certification at that point in time. But please note, it's important that you are committed to the certification. It's not just about getting the certification. A lot of people have those certifications, but it's not adding any value to them. You must be clear what your objective and your goal is for this certification, and then you can pursue it at that point in time. Sometimes some people write this exam and they fail. What's the reason why some people prepare for the exam and they do not pass it? Well, I have articulated about 8 reasons here, and I'll quickly go through it because of our time. One is a poor study habit. Some do not prepare for the exam until 1 week or 2 weeks before the exam. They quickly start reading and rush it, and go to the exam hall. This is not JAM. This exam is not secondary school certification exams that we wrote at that point in time. This certifications exam tests your experience, not just your knowledge. So quickly reading, hoping to cover those particular material is not enough. So you must watch your reading habits. 2, experience myopia. We've met some people who have 15 years experience. We've even met somebody who has 20 years experience, and they went to write the certification exam and they failed. Some people are so confident that, I am experienced. With my experience, I'll pass it. But experience is not enough. Sometimes the experience you have is not an experience that is deep HR related. And so you need to be a part of a prep program to understand what the content of the material is and what they are looking at for at that point in time. 3, some people fail out of pride. You know, there's an expression that says pride goes before a fall. Some people are so proud about their level in HR, what they've achieved, and all those particular things. And so with that pride, they walk into the exam. And as they walk in, they also walk out failing the exam. It's important that you stoop low, you humble yourself and learn. This practice, this certification is teaching you best practice and how HR is done internationally. So it's important that you pay attention to it. For some others, it's exam fever. They get to the exam and they are paralyzed. They can't remember what they've read. They fall ill immediately. And so they can't write the exam at that point. They end up failing the exam. For some others, it's been long they left school, so they don't remember how to write tests again. There are some who went to write tests. The test is over 120 questions. And the first 2 hours in the exam, they spent it on 20 questions only. There was no time again to finish the rest of the test. So you must learn the test-taking skills that are required to pass the exams at that point in time. Some go to the exam, the ones they don't know, they leave it. So they didn't answer those particular ones. And so they only answer the ones that they know at that point in time. And this also is a poor test-taking skill. All right. 6, there is what we call the Nigerian HR hats versus the international HR hats. HR is practiced in Nigeria. It's not the way HR is practiced globally and internationally. A few organizations practice HR very well. If you look at the comments in the chat box, some people have complained that in their organization, they are not allowed to practice HR very well. Yes, that is what we find in our client. So sometimes if you take the way you've been doing it in the organization, the way you've been doing it, the way you've been recruiting, the way you've been running training and all those particular things, and then go to the exam, you're going to fail. Take, for example, in Nigeria, it is common for a candidate that comes for interview to be kept waiting from morning till night before he gets interviewed at that point in time. And when they are interviewing him, they treat him as if they are doing him a favor at that point in time. That is Nigerian practice. That is not international. If you take that perception and get into the exam hall, you're going to fail. 3, some HR practice in Nigeria, when a candidate, you're going to call a candidate for interview, when he comes for interview, you'll be asking the candidate, what do you know about our organization? Tell us about our organization. When international best practice, you are supposed to discuss your organization, sell your organization to the candidate, let the candidate become excited and want to work with you at that point in time. You see, there's a difference, and all the things I've just spoken about recruitment. I can say the same thing in performance management, in training, in employee relations, and various areas. Some of the things we practice in HR in our environment is unacceptable at the global level, as the case may be. Or when we are advertising in recruitment, we say you must be 24 years old. Anybody that is older than this should not apply. That is discrimination. In fact, internationally, they will sue your organization when they see that kind of advert, as the case may be. 7, reading for the exam versus reading to practice what the content says. Some people read to pass, but ideally you should read to practice. If you read to practice, what you're reading will stay with you more than when you read for the exam. And because some people are reading for the exam, when they stop reading, all the things they read, they will forget it. But if you read to practice, you notice that you are able to retain as much as possible at that point in time. And then there's also what is called analysis paralysis. You can get into the exam and you can overjudge a question, begin to analyze the question, and that analysis, time passes, you get confused at that point in time, and you're not able to succeed as much as possible. Next steps. What can you do in order to progress? If you are interested in progressing and advancing your HR career at this point in time, we invite you to join us, to prep with us. We are known in the industry for quality certification process. We are the best of breeds. We have the best of breed in terms of faculty. We have regular updated materials that you can reference. And we have a track record, our brand name, our high pass rates, and we have the most certified students within the Nigerian space. We are also affordable, best price you can find in the market for the value we bring to the market. We have weekly discussed assignments and tests that continue to prepare you towards the exam. Then there are dedicated certification advisors and officers who work with you to ensure that you do what you're supposed to do in order to get certified. Also, the industry lead faculty in certifications and HR is there to work with you and train you and teach you also. And then we have a free study center and study space that you can come, co-working space, while you're preparing for your exam. If you're able to do this, you can gain your certification as much as possible. So this would be a good time to take any other question that hasn't been answered so far. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much. So Ayodele says best certification for relocating to US, SHRM. Laura says, can I take both HRCI and XHRM? Absolutely, you can take the two certifications. Okay, Olumide says, what is the best certification for UK? Olumide, none. When you get to UK, you must go through CIPD. CIPD is the known institute in that particular area. All right. Okay, can I see now? Must you start working in different countries? No, I've answered that. All right. Okay, thank you. No problem. Ugo, I didn't get the analysis of MB and MSc. Okay, well, I was trying to make a comparison, Ugo. I was saying, thank you, Sharon. I was making a comparison that SHRM is like an MSc certification. You go to study for MSc and you graduate to MSc. SHRM is like that. While HRCI on the other hand is like an MBA. You go and study for an MBA and you graduate with an MBA. That is HRCI for you. Now, it depends on you. What kind of experience do you want to have? Do you want an MSc experience or an MBA experience? Most times, MSc experience is good in the academia environment, while MBA is better in the working environment, as the case may be. All right? Okay. Titilayan, you're putting me on the spot. It says, are all these other certifications better than the CIPM we have in Nigeria? Yes and no. Let me be political about it. Yes and no. Yes, because they are international certifications and they speak about global HR. They speak about global HR practices. They talk about international practice of HR as it is best done globally. So that is where they appear better than CIPM. No, they are not better than CIPM because CIPM is localized. So if you still, there are some organizations where you're applying for a job or when you're moving up your career in that organization, you hear them talking about you getting a CIPM certification as the case may be. So yes, CIPM also has its value in a particular area that could help you to advance. More than that, as the case may be, all right? CIPM also helps you to be a part of an HR association in your country, and that can help you to advance in that particular area. And in recent times, we are beginning to see some relationship between CIPM and some of these international certifications. For example, if you are applying for the SPHRI certification, you can mention that you have CIPM certification when you are applying for that certification, and it goes a long way for your process, all right? Then finally, CIPM ends in the shore walls of Nigeria. You can't take CIPM outside the boundaries of Nigeria. Once you enter Ghana, CIPM is not in Ghana. Once you enter UK, CIPM is not in UK. South Africa, Canada, and all those areas, CIPM is localized to our environment here. Just like CPHR is localized to Canada. All right. If you're in Canada, that's the certification for people in Canada, as the case may be. So this is our own certification here, CIPM. Meanwhile, CIPM annual conference is coming up very soon. Hope to see you all in that place. Okay. Ope asks a very strong question. How can HR practice in Nigeria be corrected? Ope is a journey of 1,000 miles. It starts with one step, and it starts with all of us doing our part. Let me start from the top. It starts with government ensuring that our labor laws are top-notch and ensuring that those labor laws are enforced within the country. 2, it starts with CIPM. CIPM should get to a particular level where they regulate the practice of HR and how organizations treat others within the environment. 3, it starts with HR professionals in various organizations. We need to put our foot down and ensure that the right things are done. Sometimes we are afraid of being sacked from our job. The fear of receiving a sack letter or a query letter makes HR people do whatever it is the organization say. And sometimes the organizations they don't know any better. It's not like they are doing it because they are trying to be wicked, but they do not understand. And we in HR, we don't have the voice sometimes to defend this particular thing. So it is time for us to be able to build ourselves. First, make sure you're a professional person, understand what you're trying to say, and defend your practice as much as possible. Sometimes it may require you to take a career course. If you talk to some of the senior HR professionals that you know in our environments who are mentors, if you ask them, they have war stories to tell you. A lot of them have either lost jobs, resigned, or been fired, but they stand tall today as respected individuals in the areas that they are in. So this will help us in one or two small ways to advance. And then we who are in consulting firms will continue to teach and encourage HR for non-HR so that both managers and organizations can understand right at that point in time. Thank you very much for that question. Israel, what form of these exams come in? Objective, subjective, or theory? Oh, Israel, I'm sorry, I should have mentioned it. All the exams are always objective. There are 4 options. So there's a question and then 4 options, A, B, C, D. One option is correct, so you choose one out of those 4. All right? And I always advise, if you do not know the answer, you've never heard of it before, and it's strange to you, please do the bottom up. Please do mini more and choose one. Do not leave a question unanswered. All right? Always answer all questions at that point in time. So Shego says, what is the fee for the examination and the training? Shego, it depends on which of the examinations and which of them you're looking at. The fees for us at P4PE Institute is 126,000 for each of them. But I'm going to be sharing with us some discounts that will allow those who have attended this particular session to access those particular discounts very well. Yemi, yes, Learning Center in Lagos, Ikeja, for now. Eddie says, are the questions objective? Yes, I just answered that. In terms of cost consideration, trying to get certified, please, what's the advice that you can give? Again, I need to ask, what is your level? All right. The most affordable certification I say is SHRM. SHRM at $400, you can pay for the exams. But for the other certifications, they will cost you more than $400. Some are $450, some are $500 and something, some are $600, as the case may be. So between $400 and $600 is your exam fees. Yes, Gloria is asking, does P4PE accept instrumental payments? Absolutely, yes. You may choose to break your payment in preparation for either the exam or for the class. So you can, like they say, pay small as you prepare for your exam along the line. Yes, we take instrumental fees. Please chat any of our colleagues on the numbers in the chat box, and we will give you more details in that area. Opa says, Opa says, for someone like her who is willing to practice HR, has experience in administration, and has CIPM, PHRI and CIPM, how does she go about it at that point in time? For me, usually I say that sometimes if you do not have HR experience, one, find a space, an organization where you can practice HR. It is on pro bono as the case may be. Once you put in the first 6 months into that particular case, you will have gathered some experience that can begin to move you forward. Then please do not look down on the opportunities you see. Some people say, this organization is a one-man business. This organization, they only have 2 people in their office. This organization is this. And you miss the opportunity of gaining an experience in that particular area. Remember, you're on a journey. Take whatever opportunity you see, grow yourself, and then make progress at that point in time. So Ayodele says, PMP with HR certifications gives one a better advantage. Absolutely. In fact, beyond HR certifications, you need PMP certification, you need change management certification for HR to make sense a lot and for you to advance as much as possible. All right. Yes, Frank, we have a learning center in Abuja. We run certification programs in Abuja also. Ugo says, is the training physical? We are currently doing virtual. So just like we're having a session now on Zoom, that's how the certification training is running for now. But it also continues on WhatsApp with you and on one-on-one conversations and also on our e-learning platform. Bear says, can one start with these 2 without CIPM certifications? Please note, all the certifications are independent. You don't need CIPM to take HRCI. You don't need HRCI to take CIPM. You do not need SHRM to take. Each of the certifications is independent. Just choose the one that best fits what you want, and then you move forward at that point. Uche says, is SPHR done here in Nigeria? Yes, it is done, right? You can do SPHR in Nigeria, absolutely, right? So you just register for it and write it in one of the person view certification centers, all right? Valerie says, no, we do not organize CIPD certification for now. Okay. Enrolling on some, Sammy says, enrolling on some online courses as is related to HR. Does it also count in positioning yourself in the industry and increase value chain? Yes, it increases your understanding and awareness in HR. When you find opportunities, those experience and knowledge will count for something. You also notice that the person that has attended a lot of online courses on HR is a stronger person in defending HR than someone that has not attended anyone at all at that point in time. So he is asking for a number that you can use to call. Feel free at any point in time. You can reach us on this particular number on the chat box. So my colleagues will follow up and share that information at that point in time. When is the next virtual training? Okay, the next virtual training is in September. That's another 1 month or thereabout away from here. Now, here's an opportunity we need to offer for those who are interested. If you have attended this particular webinar, you can you have access to 30% discount on our certification programs for the month of September and October. So you have 30% discount. So we're offering you a special discount of 30% on our certifications programs for the month of September and October. Now, if on the other hand, you are going to be, we're also offering a 50% discount. If you register for your certification today, tomorrow, as the case may be. So if you register for your certifications within the next 24 hours, you are entitled to 50% discount. All right. So that's it at that point in time. So the certification is about 126,000. So if you register for them, registering at 63,000 for 126,000 naira class. If you register within today and tomorrow, as the case may be, and for just attending this particular webinar between now and September, you feel free to get 30% discount from our certification program at that point in time. Any other feedback, any other questions that you have, I'll be willing to take it at this point in time. Yomi says, I had a lot of Nigeria go to Ghana to write. I mean, that was in the past. That was in the past, a long time ago. All right, a long time ago, not true. All right, you can write it from here in Nigeria. There's no problem. So is there a record of higher pass rate in Ghana than Nigeria? No, it has nothing to do with pass rate. It has nothing to do with pass rate. It was because the certification centers where you can write the exams were not in Nigeria before. But now they are well available here. We have about 8 to 9 centers within Nigeria and about 2 centers or so for the SHRM that you can write. So you can write them here in Nigeria. So for the exam registration, you can register yourself, visit any of the websites for HRCI or SHRM. You can do your registrations at that point, and it's good for you at that point. However, if you want us to register you, help people to register for the exam, just chat us in the chat box and we'll assist you with that registration process. But we do charge a fee for the registration. Valerie says, okay, the 60% is 60%. No, Valerie, the 50% discount we're offering is for the class, for the training. The exam fee you still have to pay to the international institutes, right? Is your exam fee you pay to them internationally. You still need to pay to them internationally. Titilayo, yes, we've responded. You can pay in installments. You can pay in installments. Very, very true. You can pay in installments. Thank you very much. Ayodele says, by registry, do you mean the fee is for preparing participants for the exam or applying for the exam? We're referring to preparing for the exam, preparations for the exam. When you're ready for the exam, you can then register and pay for the exam separately. The exam is a different fee at that point. Everybody says, our classes online 100%. If one pays within 24 hours, but not ready to attend class till November. This particular discount of 50% is for the September-October class. After the September-October class, you are entitled to 30% discount. 30% discount up till the end of the year for your certifications. All right. And even though you register now, you have access to our online learning system and they can start learning at this point in time. Ugo says, what can you say about CHRM? Have you heard of it? Is it globally accepted? Would you like to share information on CHRM? There's a lot of certifications with different titles out there. All right. But the one I mentioned earlier is the one that is based in Canada and is specifically for those who want to practice HR in Canada or who are going to Canada. Okay, so I entered the admin number earlier. I'm going to put it up in the slide again. It's actually showing at the bottom. If you see the bottom of the screen, the numbers are there. So I'm going to enter the numbers again so that let me take it up so you can see the numbers very well. Okay, so the numbers are on the screen, so you can chat any of the numbers. The first number you can call, and the other numbers. The 50% ends this time tomorrow. By this time tomorrow, the 50% will be over, as the case may be. Bemi Sola says, do the actual certification exams have a time or period to be taken? Once you register for the exam, you have 6 months from the registration date to the date you write the exam. That's the way HRCI works. While SHRM, remember we say they have a window, December, January, February, or May, June, July. So when you're registering, you'll be registering with those particular seasons in mind at that point in time. Sammy says, how many stages or diets are there in the SHRM? Just one. That's the beauty of the international exam. The international exam is not broken down into level like CIPM is. It is just one certification exam. You take it, you pass it, you're certified, and you're good to go at that point in time. You can pay for the exam and the class at the same time, Sammy, or you can pay for the class first and pay for the exam later. Because of dollar issues, we may encourage you to pay for your exam as soon as you can. Oyo says, can we pay the 50% in discount? I'm not too sure. Your question is not clear, but we say 50% discounts for the class at this point in time. Your question is not clear. No, the 50% ends tomorrow at this hour. By midday tomorrow, the 50% will be over. You will then have access to the 30% discount. If you're paying discount, if you're paying in installment, you have to pay the full fees, as the case is. Thank you very much. Okay, any more questions? We have another 3 minutes to go before we end the session. So in case you need to reach out to me, my contact is right there on the screen. Let me see if I can call up my profile again. So my contact is right there on the screen. You can reach out to me directly on this particular number, all right? Or you can reach out to any of my colleagues in the office, and then we shall engage you better at that point in time. Thank you, Yemi. All right, no problem. We shall work on CIPD. We shall work on CIPD. Thank you very much for the interest. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. So if you can ask. Thank you, bro. Anytime. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Ibrahim. Thank you very much. Thank you, Adia. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Eddie. Okay, Yemi, the playback will be available. We will share the link to the playback to those who attended the session. Thank you. Wow, thank you, Adia. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, thank you all. I am signing out now. Thank you.